there, guys, and welcome back to another crazy ass week. And for those who are just starting to listen, you should go back and listen to the previous episodes to kind of understand what you're getting yourself into. Or if you were referred to this podcast from a friend, I want you to tell them I love them. And also, I am welcoming you to the podcast, which that sounded fucking ridiculous. As per usual, this is a sexual and super inappropriate podcast where I talk about some crazy ass shit that goes on with dating, as well as a lot of different sexual things. So this is absolutely not appropriate for children or for listening out loud in a public area. And as sexy and wonderful as my voice is, really don't want you getting into trouble or getting really terrible looks from people around you. So this week is a less than sexy podcast episode, as I mentioned last week. I know the last few episodes have been a bit more on the serious side. But dating is not all fun and games and craziness. Sometimes it's the scarier, crazy side of dating that also needs to be talked about. I did have someone reach out to me after listening to the last episode to tell me how it was actually a terrifying episode, and it was. For those who haven't heard it or forgot, it was how a creepy and crazy guy messaged me, and he got super aggressive through those messages. Unfortunately, in this world, there are shitty humans out there who act like fucking garbage and try to intimidate people. This week, however, I'm not talking about those people. This week, I decided to take a stab at talking about some stories where I was an asshole to someone and let a relationship go on way longer than it needed to go on. When I say stories, I really mean I have only one, but I brought a couple other ones again, as usually. So, of course, I gathered a few from other people on the same subject. I want to take a minute to thank everybody for sharing and listening and just being all around super kick-ass. The YouTube channel that I do post this on, because I posted across, I have it off of Stitcher now, which I've had for the last few times. Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcast is finally fucking up because I stopped being a dumbass. I have it on the Blubrry, but I also post it off of YouTube as well. It's not video, but it's still the audio. So the YouTube channel is at like 120 views between the first 5 episodes, which to me is insane. I fully expected it to just be a handful of my friends listening and placating me as I babble on the internet to the complete void around me, because really and truly, I record this either in my bedroom or my bathroom. Don't fucking judge me, because the acoustics are way better in my bathroom, and I am always alone. My neighbors must think I'm fucking insane, and if anyone ever witnessed the way that I talk, they would maybe think I was a bit crazy. I talk with my hands a lot. Even when I'm talking to myself and just talking, I'm literally staring at my wall right now at this painting in my bathroom, staring directly at it and just like talking into the void. Also, I have notes because while I know most of these stories by heart, I also get off track really fucking easy, like I am doing now. But I did have a friend of mine suggest that I live stream an episode further down the road. And I think I might do that, or at least record a video of me recording an episode. Because if you really want to see how ridiculous everything is, dude, you should see my fucking ghetto ass setup right now. But I am thinking that maybe if I decide to do that, I would probably bring a guest on so it's not just me. And now that I have really successfully sidetracked myself, let's dive into these glorious and beautiful train wreck that I now call a podcast. So, as I'm sure I've mentioned, I was in a long-term relationship about like 3 or 4 years ago that ended, well, not super lovely. So after that, I tried my hand in the online dating world, which I had that unfortunate incident with that crazy person. I met up with another guy that I actually do still talk to occasionally. And actually, the majority of people that I've gone out with in the past, I still talk to, from time to time. I like to keep friendships. So, probably about a year after that, I started talking to this really sweet, super cute guy online. Now, I don't actually have a specific type of person that I date, and I did have this argument with someone recently about how my taste in men is actually pretty wide, so I don't actually attract a certain kind of man, more specifically the crazy men. It just so happens that they wind up crazy. Maybe I'm the common thread in this, or maybe they were crazy to begin with, but who fucking knows? I try to connect to someone who can hold a conversation, doesn't blow smoke up my ass, and has a decent sense of humor. I have a dirty sense of humor, and I'm super mouthy, and not everybody likes that in a girl. I also swear a ridiculous amount, and if you've listened to all of these podcasts, you would understand and know that I talk like that as a normal human being in public. I actually talk super sexual things in public too. I have learned this over the years that not a lot of men like that. So this guy, though, he was super nice. He could hold a conversation, and surprisingly, he didn't have any social media other than the dating app we met on. Not only did he admit to this, but I also searched everywhere on the internet to try and find him, just in case. I like to do a lot of digging into a person before I go out with them. I had a guy get weirded out that I could find him on Facebook, and I explained that all I did was plug his phone number into the search bar and he popped right up. So if you don't want a girl to find you that way, try not to have your number posted online. So we talked a bit, and we kind of, mutually decided that to meet up for dinner and kind of go from there. We made the plans, and we make the plans. We go to dinner, and we actually went to the Olive Garden, and I fucking love the Olive Garden. Pasta and endless breadsticks, dude, it's so fucking good. Their Three Cheese raviolis are absolutely to die for, and now I'm fucking starving. The date went well. He was so nice, and like I said, really could hold a good conversation. He didn't seem to raise any red flags, though I wouldn't really know a red flag if it smacked me in the face. I actually saw this thing on Facebook not that long ago that said I self-identify as a bull because I charge towards red flags. That isn't my life. He didn't try to kiss me, which I did appreciate. Not every first date needs to have a kiss, at least in my opinion, it doesn't. We decided to go out again, and this turned into going out a lot. We started getting close, and he hung out at my house. He met my daughter. We went to Fun Spot, which for people who are not in the same state as I am, it's a really fun place. It's literally the largest arcade. They have all arcade games in the whole upstairs. Like, it's amazing. You should go if you ever come out this way, or Google it. It's fun. So yeah, we went to the movies, we went to the mall, and we kind of did everything together. But as it progressed, I couldn't get past feeling just a sort of just friendship towards him. He was a good kisser. I just was not feeling it, and never slept with him, which I know is surprising to most people, but I just never felt that desire. I knew that was wrong. I liked him, and I wanted to like him, and I wanted it to keep going, even though I was basically leading this poor guy on. We get months into this, I guess, like relationship, and he kept making small comments about how if I was his girlfriend, I wouldn't have to worry about certain things, but I could not get myself to commit to a relationship with him because, again, I couldn't get past the friendship feelings. We got closer into the Christmas season, and I didn't get him a gift, mostly because at the time I was relatively poor, and I didn't know what to get the poor guy. He, on the other hand, went all fucking out. He bought my daughter this amazing Nightmare Before Christmas Sally doll, and it was like $50. And this was after my insistence. I'm like, please don't get her that. I will get it for her. Just don't do it. He got us quite a few really nice things for Christmas, and I just felt so fucking awkward about it. Then my birthday rolled around, which is like less than a month after Christmas, and he surprises me by buying me brand new tires for my car and getting them sent to my house. Again, I felt awful, but I accepted them because I really, really needed tires for my car, and there was no way in hell that it was going to pass inspection without them. So I accepted them. And then I felt really guilty. This guy really, really liked me, and here I was using him for things. He was making so many different parts of my life a lot better, and I could not even commit to this poor guy. Finally, it gets, not too long before Valentine's Day, and I could not do it anymore. I felt horrible for leading him on. The guy had hung on for 5 months. 5 months. And not once did I sleep with him. Not a single time. This dude had the fucking patience of a goddamn saint. We made out a lot, and I never let him sleep over, and I also never slept with him. So, I will, it's out of character for me, but somehow I felt that if I didn't sleep with him, I wasn't fully leading him on. No, I'll admit I was being a complete fucking dickhole. Like, that's not something you should use to justify anything like that. I finally had the conversation with him that I just was not as into him as he was into me. And I thought it was best if we continue not to see each other. And he thankfully didn't get super pissed off at me. And I just felt a lot better after, when I think about all the shit I put him through, I feel fucking absolutely awful. I was a horrible person to this perfectly sweet guy. And I stuck through it because I was hoping to get a feeling that just did not end up coming. So this will be the only time that I ever mention a real name, because honestly, he deserves to find like a super great girl that loves him and appreciates all that he has to offer. Well, fuck him. Not deny that shit for 5 months. So Calvin, I am so incredibly sorry for being a dickhole to you and for using you for things to better my life without actually giving you anything in return. I feel like a straight up asshole, and I am so, so sorry. I'm sure he may not actually listen to this podcast, but if he randomly finds it one day, I want him to know I feel bad about all that I put him through, and I'm so sorry. And actually, he has tried to reach out to me a few times over the years, and I responded once that I wasn't interested. And I reiterated that I found him as just a friend, but that I hope that he finds what he's looking for. Other than that, any other messages he's tried to send me, I haven't responded to. I really don't know how to break it down any further to him. Like, he has messaged me on Facebook, and I only know this because I went into like my Facebook messages one day, and you know how you have those like all in Messenger, and you can see like hidden messages that you didn't even know you had. Well, I found them in there, and like he had been trying to reach out to me for a while. I have been ignoring them because I don't want to give him any false hope or just kind of like, this poor guy. And that's probably one of the few dating stories where I have been an absolute and complete dick to somebody. I am sure there are many other stories out there, but I cannot remember them all. I'm sure if you ask quite a few of my ex-boyfriends, they will tell you I'm a cold-hearted bitch and then have plenty of stories where I was a dick to them. This is truly the only one where I led someone on for a long period of time when I knew not far into it that I was not into him nearly as much as he was for me. And I'm sure, like I said, that there's been plenty of guys that I've dated, well, that'll say that I'm a dick, but I'm sure there's also plenty of other guys that I've dated that have been way more into, that I've been way more into than they were into me, I fucking worded I just fucked that whole sentence up. And I'm not going to fix it because I do this thing where I can't edit for shit. So I do this all in one shot, and I don't edit it at all. And so when I fuck up sentences, that shit just stays in there. Though you should hear some of the other recordings I have from when I first start out. Like today, I forgot to turn my mic on. And I turned it on and I went, damn it. And I have that. I'm not going to save it. It's going to get fucking deleted, but I'm a dumbass today. It's been a long ass week, and I'm recording this on a Saturday, which I usually try to record this earlier in the week because guess what? I release it on Saturdays. Oops, my bad. Yeah, so I'm sure there's been plenty of guys that I've dated that I've been way more into than they were into me. So the thing I usually take from this whole situation is that you should definitely tell the person straight up if you're not interested, or tell them sooner rather than later so that you don't get the guilt or waste somebody's time. That is the one thing I truly hate, is having my fucking time wasted, because it's horrendous. Yeah, it's not fun, and I really, really hate. I have very limited time, and I fucking hate my time getting wasted. So, I did have a few stories that are nuts from me, and of course, it's that portion of the podcast where I share listener stories or stories from people who just I've gathered them from. Pardon me, I'm getting a little sidetracked from my phone, which I should have left in my room. So the first one is she's like, I did this with this guy. I was still in love with an ex and I was afraid to be with another person, but I told him I'd go out with him. He told his friends and family about me. And when I met his mother, I said we were just friends. And that opened a whole can of worms. So I told him that I didn't want to date anyone, but he went above and beyond to win my affection. I was the asshole, but I'm still married to him 11 years later. Sweet story. Here's another one. Says I have a story and not sure if it fits. My now husband would not commit to me being exclusive, so when a guy hit on me on St. Patrick's Day at the bar, I worked at it. I let him give me his number right in front of her now husband. So thankfully, those last two stories ended up with them being with their current husbands. So it doesn't always end in the way that my story does. This next story, though, not so much. So it says, I dated this guy for a long time and absolutely loved him. He broke my heart, so I was a bitch and invited his best friends over for drinks when I was having girls' night with some friends. Well, the dude ended up staying over and we hung out off and on for a while, and then he said he wanted to date me, probably like 2 months later. So I said, okay, fine. Well, once I started dating him, I realized how clingy and annoying he was, which over the next few months, because controlling and eventually physically abusive, so karma got me back on that one. Side note, no one should ever get abused physically, emotionally, nothing. Doesn't matter what you've done in your fucking life. Karma is not a thing that excuses a man from abusing you. And we're back. But basically, I was the asshole because 2 months after we started dating, I ended up losing my job due to the family relocating over an hour and a half away. So I decided to move out of my apartment and in with this dude and do my internship for what I went to school to do, unpaid, for a month and a half, which was about 200 hours of work time that I wasn't getting paid for. So I let him pay all my bills and I lived in his house and I was the bum. But I still treated him good and was nice to him even though I hated being around him. But then he got mixed up with heroin and became even crazier and abusive, so I stopped feeling bad and ended up leaving. So I was a jerk, but he was also a jerk, so I don't feel bad anymore. Honestly, that guy, fucking trash. I get the feeling like an asshole because you did live with him, you didn't work, you mooched off of him, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, he abused you. So in a way, I find that karma on his end. So that's my opinion. But yes, I literally give no fucks. I do not excuse abuse. Not even fucking, does not matter. Men hitting women, women hitting men. If you're abusing somebody, you're abusing somebody and you're a trash human being. So anyways, those are the last few stories that I have for this week. Some of these episodes have been a little bit shorter. Some of them have been a bit longer. It really depends on what I'm kind of covering for that week. So I know the last few times that I have actually known what I was going to do for the next week. And honestly, this time I don't. I have zero clue. I haven't even thought about it, to be honest. So I'm going to kind of wing it and figure out what I want to do. I definitely have quite a few more topics that I want to cover. And I'm thinking for my 10th episode, which I'm already like, this is number 6. Like, I can't even fucking believe I've been talking for 6 goddamn episodes and I'm still fucking going. For the 10th one, what I'm planning on doing is just gathering some stories and have the whole episode only other people's stories. None of them are going to be mine. And I'm not even going to put a theme on it. I'm just going to tell fucking crazy ass stories. If someone wants to give me a story of some like the crazy ass fucking sex that they've ever had in some like in a plane above an ocean in a thunderstorm driving and flying into a hurricane or something, I will tell that fucking story. Like, I am so down to hear everyone's stories. So on that note, if you have any, I still have, not still because I wouldn't have closed it. I have the email still up and running, and you can submit stories to there. You can ask me questions or you can just leave me comments that way. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave comments down below and I will sift through them. I'll respond to you. You can, any form of way that you want to message me, fucking do it. Also, since this is now on iTunes, you should rate this a high number, like a 5 on iTunes, because I told you to. Just kidding. If you love me, you'll do it. And yeah, so it's been a crazy week on my end, work and blah, 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 blah. No one really wants to hear that kind of shit. So yeah, I say the word so yeah a lot, and I say literally a lot too, I've noticed. And because I was just gonna go which reminds me of the How I Met Your Mother episode when Robin does and now we're sidetracked onto fucking shows. So anyways, the email is thiscouldbeatrainwreck@gmail.com. I will also have that email in the descriptions on this episode. I will also put where you can find this crazy ass fucking podcast across different platforms. Like I said, it's on Stitcher, it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, and it's also on YouTube. And then I have my Blubrry account, which is still there. There's a few people who actually do listen to it off of that, so that's cool. So I have it all across these different platforms, which has been awesome. I do love having one site where I just literally upload it to, and then it just like sends it out to all of them. It's pretty fucking dope if you ask me. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap this fucking episode up because I have no more stories for you. And if I continue talking, I'm just going to talk about random ass fucking shit. And again, no one fucking wants that. So thank you all so much for fucking listening. Keep sharing, keep giving me stories, keep telling your friends to listen to this, keep fucking doing what you're doing because I am thrilled. I don't even care if I have 17 subscribers on YouTube, which for me, I thought I was going to have like 1 or 2. So I'm not really complaining. And it's at 131 views now, actually. I believe my Tinder disaster is the most viewed video of my 5 that I have, which, makes sense. But yeah, I am going to let you guys go, which this sounds like I'm ending a phone call. I won't give you my customer service voice because that's a weird thing to do. But yeah, I will be back next week. Like I said, no fucking clue what I'm bringing you, so keep an eye out. And yeah, have a wonderful day, night, what the fuck ever time you're listening to this. Bye.